Rich Rainbow.
Who's that? That's a fucking
That's our
name.
keyboard player.
That's our keys guy.
He's a fucking porn actor. Rich Rainbow. That's a fucking porn
Maybe
name. That.
he is.
That's not a fucking Rich Rainbow.
That's how this kind of started. Me and John, years ago, were saying the chart music is just going down the pan. The bands are going down the pan. But instead of whinging about it and doing nothing about it, we went, well, let's do something. Let's start our own band. Let's record some songs. Let's release an album and put it out there.
Yeah.
And we've basically, Lucky 13 is basically an album that we want to listen to.
Right, people, this is an interview with Gallahers Green. Got John, who's remote, because we didn't want to bring him into the studio, and we've got Ian in the studio. So before we start, we're going to share it onto socials. We're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. Tell us what we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about the remastered debut album, Lucky 13.
Right, and I think what we'll do is I think we should play the video, the VT, for the track.
Yeah.
So anyway, why did you remaster? Just say why you remastered it. What it's all about.
Well, we released this in 2021. Is that right, John?
Yes, we did.
And we were never happy with the production quality or the drums. And we recorded another album since then with a different producer, and we realised the quality that could have been out there. So we got that producer to go back into the first album, remix, remaster. We made a few tweaks along the way, but not many. And then we've had the whole thing revamped. It needed doing.
Brilliant. Oh, I can still see me over here. That was a good, smart move of you telling me to put it over here. Now I need another mic there, and then I can do the show from here. And we can get it all wangled, can't we? So I'm just what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put the video on of Satellite. I know we've played that last couple of days, but it's a banging tune.
It is.
For everyone out there, so they can watch the video. While they're doing that, we will then we'll share it on the old socials and everything. Yeah. All right. So. Oh yeah.
This is Kate Bush. Who the fuck is Kurt Pickstone?
Never mind, love. Who the fuck is Gallahers Green? How you doing, lads?
Yep. Good mate.
Are you there, Kurt?
So yeah, it's we normally go out live on Mixcloud, but because the reggae show's on, we thought we better do it on Facebook. So we're on Facebook at the minute, and we're also on the old TikTok.
Nice.
And then this will be on YouTube and what have you. So we've got Ian in the studio, and we've got John in his studio drinking beer. Now I'd offer you a drink, but you're driving.
Yeah, indeed.
I've got my beer fridge now. You see, it's a new addition to the studio.
Maybe next time, eh?
There's cans of Coke in there as well, so there you go. Oh, look at that. It's even got Gallahers Green on there now. You couldn't have planned it, could you? Planned it better. Couldn't have planned it better. So, anyway, thanks for the T-shirt, lads. Ian's come. He's gave me a T-shirt. There you go.
You're very welcome.
And 2 CDs. The latest one, which we're here to talk about, Lucky 13, and Dare to Dream. So go and get them from your local record shops, HMV and stuff like that. Go to HMV because they actually support local artists. So that's what I'm saying. They don't pay me. They're not paying me. No. But HMV, if you want to sponsor me, then sponsor me. That's up to you. But yeah, Lucky 13. So obviously you did Duggysfest in 2023.
Yep.
And you're coming back to do Duggysfest 2025. We said we'd have to get you back. We'd have to remaster your performance.
So it needed remastering.
Because that's why you've done this, Lucky 13. You've decided to remaster it because you wasn't totally comfortable or happy with the way it sounded, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we captured the. We basically went into the studio after the first lockdown was lifted on 20th of July, 2020. So we were the first band back in. We'd really worked on the songs while we were all sort of apart. So everything was really tight. We got the performances down, but we weren't really, and we released it then 12th of February, 2021. But we just weren't happy with, basically the drummer at the time was just a novice drummer. And the drums just weren't up to standard. And we just weren't happy with the production. So after we did our second album, which you're holding there, Dare to Dream, at Volta Lab Studios, our producer was Jamie Allsop. We were just blown away by what he did. So he took about a year working on them. We went in, did little bits and pieces, and basically remixed, remastered, reimagined the whole thing. So he did an absolutely fantastic job. And because we're not with a label or anything, we're independent. There was no pressure on us. We just took our time and did it, and now we're really, really happy with it. It's come out better than we could ever have imagined.
So this releases on the 25th of October. So if you're watching this after the date, it's available. So, well, thanks, lads.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll get him to sign it as well later on. Not signed it. Brilliant. So you've got a new lineup, really. Not a new lineup, but you've got different people in. You've got a different drummer in, haven't you? Who's an absolute Fruit Loop. He's got that many drums.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah. Tom played at Duggysfest, but because our lead guitarist at the time had quit a couple of weeks before, we had to cancel all our gigs, but we didn't cancel Duggysfest because it was too important to us. So we played as a three-piece. Basically, after that, we got our new guitar player, Jamie Lamont, and we recently got a new keys player called Rich Rainbow, and we got they're just great musicians.
Brilliant.
Proper musicians, like they know jazz stuff.
Oh, I fucking hate jazz, but there you go. That's fine. Jazz and opera can jog off, but in some instances, it's probably okay, isn't it? But yeah, no, it's good, and that's one reason why I wanted to invite you back for Duggysfest 25. I know we're ready to talk about an album, but I'll talk about that as well. Is because it was our first one, and some of the performances we did, I wasn't happy with the audio, the way the audio came through. Because if you think about it, we had 6 or 7 bands during the day, all different equipment, all different setups, and when you guys came on, I wasn't happy with your performance. What you did here and what we went out sounded great, but what we actually captured, I wasn't happy with it, and I was like, there's no way I'm putting it out. I was gutted because, you know, the performance you'd done and you'd been here and everything, and I was really genuinely gutted. So it's one reason why I want you to come back. I want you to come back anyway, but I want you to come back because I want to give you basically our Lucky 13.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
I want to give you a good quality, because I don't want to put stuff out that doesn't look right or doesn't sound right, and I wasn't happy with it at all. But that's why we invested and got some different equipment to make it better for this year. So that's good. All good stuff then. So what have you got planned? So could you talk about, you were talking before about a gig, or can you talk about that next year?
We're basically in the process of booking gigs and festivals for 2025, but we've just had one through that's, I can't say the name of it because it's not 100%.
It's not Glastonbury.
No.
Just let you know that.
We'll flip it over to you because, well, I think your brother, the other Gallagher, he said he wouldn't do Glastonbury because it's full. What did he say? He said it's I can't remember what he said, but
I can imagine it wasn't
but he's
nice.
Like something like they're all plebs or knobheads or something, or tossers or something, whatever. But he basically said they won't play Glastonbury as the next year because wannabes and all that sort of thing.
I think the real reason is the contracts that they're in for these live gigs. It's properly locked down, and Glastonbury, people do it to promote themselves, and they don't need to promote themselves.
Bit like you guys, really. But so that's thanks for coming along and chatting to us here, because you know what I mean. You don't need to be here, do you? You know what I mean? There you go.
One thing on the album, I'll be honest, I was happy-ish with the album as it was that we released 4 years ago. It took John to say, it's just not right. And even when we'd gone in the studio for the second album, and obviously the production was tons better, the producer was tons better, and we did have the option, because we took all the original stems from the Lucky 13 recordings, I still kind of went, it's just a moment in time. You know, we shouldn't change anything. It's like people always say about Definitely Maybe. The production on Definitely Maybe, it's more rock and roll, live, raw sounding compared to Morning Glory. So I just thought it was going to be like that. I just thought that's an album that's kind of a punky, grungy sound. And then I don't know if John's a genius or a criminal mastermind or whatever, but he said, let's just do one song, Feel So Real.
Right.
And we got the producer to give him that as a bit of a test, and he did it. And it came back, and I must have listened to it 50 times in a row. And my neighbours listened to it 50 times in a row as well.
Well done.
they didn't want to, but that was the moment, weren't it, John? That was the game changer.
Yeah, and I couldn't listen to the first album. I knew the songs were good. I knew they were structured. We'd produced them to the best possible standard, as in arrangements and parts. But the overall production and all the feedback we got from trusted people, like a good friend of ours, he's the sound engineer for Spiral Carpets and the Blossoms, so he knows his stuff, and he's a really nice guy. And he listened to the album and he went, "The songs are great." He says production's a bit iffy and the drums are a little high school.
Oh.
And I lay awake at night
Oh.
for months. And a few other people said that like proper musos. And the feedback now we've had, and I mean, that album is perfection. We have slaved over that.
Yeah.
Going back in, flying back over to fix a tiny guitar part or a little vocal line. And now I'm really happy. I just thought that's a shame that you can't listen to your first album because it makes your toes curl. So it's up to it's at the same sonic standard as the second album, as will be the third album that we're going to do next month.
And John's not joking. He flew over from Northern Ireland to record a guitar part that went dun 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 dun. That was it. Because everything had to. What's the point in getting it 99.9% perfect? Once you've opened Pandora's box and you're in there, it was a case of let's do the whole shebang. Let's get everything absolutely right.
I get that, and it takes balls to actually do that and say what we produced is not we're not happy with it and we want to change it. It takes a lot of guts to do that, really.
And you've mentioned it before about the streams as well. I can't remember how many streams we had. 150,000 maybe. It was a lot of streams, and
they were real streams too. We didn't pay for anything. We never did that. We never paid anybody or bots or any of that crap. They were real streams.
Oh, there's absolutely no point. And you see some bands and you go, there's no way they're real.
There's a thing called Vibrate.
Oh yeah,
as in rate the vibe.
Yeah.
Not Ann Summers. And you can go on there, you can put any band in, and it'll go through their streams, and you can see a graph, and you can see these bands where the streams are going fine, they're fine, and then for a week they've had 10,000 streams a day, and then they go down again. It's like
in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, you can see that people are using bots, but Spotify will kick you off. We would never risk it.
There's no point, is there? You can do that. I could do something on our streams or on our read things, but we don't know where we stand then, do we?
No.
Do you know what I mean? I'd rather have, like watching this now, I'd rather have 5 people watching it than a fake 1,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that 5 people are invested. For people to spend time watching and listening to stuff is brilliant. So we do shows, and we have if you have a couple of hundred on a show or something like that, or what have you, and then but after that the content goes from it. I can have 1,000 or couple of thousand views on just little sections of that show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But multiple ones are
I'm sorry, I cut you off, mate.
Right.
I think the point you were going to make was we would lose the original streams, which we have lost a lot. But what you're saying there, Kirk, about it being real, somebody looked at our figures and go, all right, they've a bit of a following, they're building up, they're doing the normal thing. But I remember there was a point where 1 month our Spotify streams went up to 1,000 a month, and we're like, what the hell's happening? We didn't even know that XS in Manchester had put us in a battle of the bands, and people were going off and listening to our stuff. And it's you'd be lying to yourself, because you're not going to find things like that out and understand that.
No.
Why is that had a spike? Why? We played a gig. What's had a little spike in Birmingham or London or whatever?
Yeah, you can see what happens. So, like, if people, I don't know, you put a show out or you put a video out, then and something happens after it, like you get more downloads or whatever, then you know where that's come from, don't you? You know the actions that you've taken have caused that reaction. We had one. I'm not saying we're totally responsible for it, but East 17. There's only like one of the original members in there, but I actually through a contact had him on for an interview. And they brought a new track out, and it was remastered, so more like a dance track than their track. And he said, "Can you help promote it?" And I think when we got involved, I think it had something like 80,000 streams or something like that. But I know an actress in the States, and she's got like 2 million followers. She's massive in the States. And I interviewed her through someone else, and I said, "Couldn't do us a favour, could you? Could you do a little TikTok dance to this or something?"
Nice.
And she did. And the streams on that track went up from like 90 odd to 150,000.
That's all it takes. Yeah, that's all it can take.
Over a week or so. And I'm saying, like, not saying that's a direct result of everything we've done, but we've had a play in that, because it's jumped up by 50, 60,000 in a week, and after she'd done a video. And it's those things that if you're faking it, or you're not doing it right, you're going to get caught out.
Well,
Or
what are you
you'll
getting
get
out of it?
You're getting fuck all out of
I
it.
don't know what you're getting out of it. There's some bands, and there's one band in particular. I won't name them.
Name them! Name them! Come
not
on!
naming 'em.
Fucking name them!
If I was on the beers, I'd have named them already.
Name them! Get a beer out!
And I'd always keep an eye. I'll always keep an eye on the tracks and go, oh, that one's got 10,000. That one's got. And I did it on purpose because they'd always have like 2,000 monthly listeners, but the track numbers weren't going up. So I was like, you're not fooling anybody, and they'll be paying for that. So what are you getting? What are you getting out of that? To just have this fake number, which will go back down once you stop paying the bot. So it just baffles me what you're actually getting out of that.
It's mad, isn't it? You just it's like, well, I often say this. I'm not because it's wrong because my lad's really conscientious and what have you. But I sort of nicknamed the last couple of generations as the PlayStation generation.
Yeah.
As in, what's the cheat? How to get from here quicker?
Yeah,
and
true.
you know what? There's no. It's false in a couple of ways, because for you to become successful in whatever you do, you need to have some failures and you need to climb the ladder, don't you? You need the steps you've got to take. Yeah. And then if you get knocked down, one of my good friends, Cross that teaches all this, is if you become successful, but you painfully got there, if you get knocked back or get knocked down, you know the steps to take it back again. But if you don't, you've gone. I'm listening to Kevin Bridges at the minute, his podcast, his life story, brilliant. And it's a bit like that with comedians. They'll bomb.
Yeah.
They'll bomb.
Oh, you're not even in the game until
if
you
you can't bomb,
yeah.
It's a bit like you guys doing a gig. If you don't bomb at a gig and think like, fuck this, this is shit.
We've never ever done a bad gig though. Everything we've done has gone absolutely perfectly. Is that right, John?
I think maybe my vocals might have bombed a few times, but yeah. And the thing is, you've got to learn these things. It's basic. It's just like being it's just anything in life. You're not going to be a good carpenter until you've been a carpenter for X amount of years and built however many pieces of furniture or whatever.
It's
and
all
that's
well
the
and
only
good.
way you're going to learn.
It's all well and good at gigs because you can always do another gig. You can do another video on YouTube. You can do whatever. But once your songs are committed, well, I'm saying this now. I'm going to say you can never undo it. We haven't.
You haven't done it. Look, lucky 13 people. Lucky 13.
One thing we didn't change anything. I'm really, really proud of this. The production got changed. There was a bit of extra instrumental. I think John overdid a couple of vocals just because they'd been sped up the tracks. Yeah. But we didn't change any of the structure of any of the songs.
No.
And we could have done.
Or a single lyric.
Or any lyrics. Yeah. So we knew we'd got that right. But we said at the start, if we're going to do this, because we're both like getting on for 40 by the time we decided to start this band, we said we can't mess about and like say, oh, that's good when it isn't. So we had to almost bounce the mistakes off each other for the songwriting. And we had to get that right. And we said, we're going to have to be honest. And if something's just not a good enough song, it goes to one side. It goes on the work-on pile.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm very glad we've done that, to be honest. It's paying dividends now.
No, you're right.
That's the military thing in us that, obviously, I'm out here and still serving, but it's just brutal honesty. And nobody likes doing it. We're not dickheads to each other, but that guy, I might have a strength and he'll have a strength. And that's what makes us so good when we work together, you know? But you just got to be brutal with each other without being.
John says he doesn't enjoy it. It's his favourite thing ever. He rings me up and goes, "That song you sent me is the biggest pile of."
Well, if you've not noticed, go on. Sorry, John.
I'm just going to follow on from your thing about like a 10,000 hours or whatever it is doing something. But it also goes down to people. You find out who the real dedicated people are in your bands, because people drop off. Like in our band, they'll be like, yeah, they'll make all the right sounds and do this and do that, and then their heart's not in it. They drop off, and it takes you to go through this process. Like if we were just like manufactured, I wouldn't say boy band, dad band, and we were put together, you would just have, right, okay, I'm stuck with these 5 guys for the rest of my life. I don't know what their strengths and weaknesses really are until you've been through it, been to gigs together when it's gone wrong. I'd rather do that than I'd get to the end and go, right, I know these guys are good and we've all got each other's backs.
Yeah, Sam, sorry about that. I'm just trying to see if there's any comments coming through, and there is on the old Facebook. So
yeah, we've definitely been through it. There's one gig in particular. John will know which one I'm talking about. The one in Ashton, I forgot, Molly's Bar it was called. it was possibly the worst gig in the history of gigs, and we've actually got footage of it that I've tried to watch back, and I can't get more than like 5 seconds.
Burn it. Burn it.
It needs
But
burning.
the thing was with that gig, it was the one gig we got paid the most for, and he paid us
We
straight away.
did. Yeah.
But there was a guy with it was a real rough bar, Kirk, and there was a guy with 666 tattooed on his forehead,
No.
and he was picking up pool balls and launching them at these women,
Yeah.
and I was just standing there singing like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
It was, but anyway, it was good. It was a good experience.
We never got asked back. Funny old thing. I can't.
No, well, I'd take that as a
I
compliment.
can't understand why.
If he wasn't throwing the snooker ball, pool balls at you two, then I'd take that as a fucking positive.
Yeah,
I'd take
true.
it as a Sorry, I swear a lot. I got a bollocking off my younger brother at the weekend. He come over from Malta and we was out having a drink. He went, Kirk, he's 4 years younger than me, and he's a bit of an handy lad. And he went, why'd you swear so much? And it really upset me, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it did. It really got to me. Really got to me. I was blabbing in the pub. I went, that hurt.
Oh, shit,
From you, that really hurts. So why are you swearing so much? You don't need to swear so much. I'm like, wow. Never thought I'd hear him say that. He's ex-Navy as well, so
Oh, really?
he's been around it,
Hang
hasn't he?
on,
Do you know what I mean?
hang on. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's gone a bit
And he's
soft.
from Manchester, obviously, as well.
He's from
so-
Manchester. He's done softies all day. He's bothered about a bit of swearing in Witherspoons. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Oh, so Adam Lowe's on, and he said, see, I was looking for him to say it was me, the bastard. I was not going to read it out now. He said, great bloke and great example to myself and all the lads. Love seeing him follow his passion. And I said, who? Hoping he'd say Kirk. And he says, no, John. Well, there you go.
He was one of my lads in Afghan. He's a Geordie lad. He's a good lad. Right, Adam?
Brothers in arms, brothers in arms. So this is what
Problem.
we're going to have to do more of this shit. And oh, lads, people, we might not hopefully spoil it, but these guys are going to do something very similar to this called Gallahers Green Room, aren't you?
In the green room with
In the
Gallahers
green
Green.
room.
It'll be similar to
Yeah.
this, actually. Yeah. The idea is we get people from other bands in and have a chat like this, because we're an active band, and some of the things like people with 666 tattooed on the forehead throwing snooker balls at people want to chat about things like that happen. And like sound engineers turning up an hour late for sound
brilliant.
check.
I've started asking people
I know.
that.
Gotta-
Started asking bands that. Have you ever had a sound
Yeah.
engineer turn up on a skateboard and say he was late because of the traffic? I mean,
You couldn't make it up, man.
you should have hit him with it.
You couldn't make it up. It was funny. Yeah, so things like that. So just want a general chit chat with bands and like the stuff that goes on behind the
gonna be good.
scenes
It's
that,
gonna be
that
good.
no one else seems to know about. It's a bit of a hidden kingdom being in a band. It's fun. It's good. There's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. So yeah, we're gonna have our own little show digging a bit deeper into that.
People don't know yet because we've not really sorted it out. But I've got a meeting on Saturday with some other indie producers
Oh, nice.
of other shows on other radio stations. So what we want to do, me and Janice, is bring a few people together and do a show. All do shows on one platform to highlight bands, and
Yeah,
even
good.
they might play some old school news, but mine will be all new stuff. So might have to get you involved in that as well. But there you go.
It's like the Avengers of the radio station.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is be the focal point for it, because we're all a bit like you as bands, right? So you as bands, right? Everyone's doing their own little bit and promoting their own bands. But if you pull those bands together, or you pull, if you pull indie producers together or radios, we've got more chance of breaking through, haven't we?
Well, yeah, and to be fair, John's always said this. When we come across other bands, we'll always try and do a gig with them further down the road. And he says, you get a scene going. We'll steal your fans, you'll steal our fans.
Yeah, but you
And
go
it's
together.
not steal, but
No, you're not.
Yeah, it's like a punk rock thing.
I think
yeah.
it's like a lot of things. I think a lot of people see everyone else's competition. Oh, they're doing that as well, so it's I can't even talk to them because they're doing radio show.
we're
I
the
don't give
opposite.
two shits what other people are doing because they're not me.
Yeah.
And another band's not you. Do you know what I mean? So how can it affect you by working together? Unless someone's like takes you for a ride. Do you know what I mean? That's a bit different. But generally, you're all trying to do the same thing. And I think one of the biggest things I got, I know we're here to talk about your album, but talking about things in general, is one of the biggest compliments we got, or the thing that really hit me, and I wanted to happen, was at Duggysfest, the first ever Duggysfest, where bands came together, and it was more of a network for you guys. It was as much as a network for you guys as it was for us promoting you. And I was buzzing at the end of the night after that, because I there's relationships born there. We had the big boss started doing remastering tracks for bands,
Smoking
and that's
Eskimo,
Smoking
wasn't it?
Eskimo. Now he's done
I have seen the other one that he's done. I can't remember the name either. It's
Oh
banging
my
on.
God! Regret from Coastal Fire Department. You know,
it's a tune.
so
It's a hell
there's
of a tune.
people that have linked and moved together and come together and are there now. So if I don't know if someone goes, actually, I'd like to have a remaster. They're going to go and find Big Boss out and say, "Could you remaster this for us?"
Well, we had a chat. We was minus a lead guitar player when we played Duggysfest, and the lead guitar player from Smoking Eskimo said, "Give me a shout if you need me. I'll help you out." As it turned out, we found someone, but it was like, if we hadn't found Jamie, we might have been ringing him up and saying, you know, let's get some collaboration on the go.
Yeah. I'm just looking. Sorry, I'm just wondering if I should ignore that we're recording it anyway. But it's just nice that it's going out. If you're watching on live on Facebook, please share the broadcast and comment on it and what have you. And this will all be on YouTube as well.
The other thing about like other bands, I'm more amazed at every gig we do how good the other bands are out there. There is proper music, and every time I listen to your show, the bands, I don't listen to chart music at all anymore. And that's how this kind of started. Me and John years ago were saying the chart music is just going down the pan. The bands are going down the pan. But instead of whinging about it and doing nothing about it, we went, well, let's do something. Let's start our own band. Let's record some songs. Let's release an album and put it out there.
Yeah.
And we've basically, Lucky 13 is basically an album that we want to listen to.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and we're glad we've done it now. It's out there, and I'd listen to that more than I'd listen to anything in the charts any day of the week.
Oh, what's that guy? Oh, I'm terrible with names. There's a guy that does that show with all the facts. Tall bloke, anyway. That's the only
Pointless.
Yes, that guy.
How did I get that from that?
Fucking brilliant. It's a new part of the show segment. Can you get the person for the description? But I heard him talking to someone about music, and basically what he's saying is, I think since it might have been the late 90s or the early 2000s, the only people that have charted have been like solo artists.
Yeah.
There's never. I think there's like one or two bands.
Yeah, bands have been going
that have hit it, and I think one of them was like a collaboration or I don't know. But he's reading about like in 1980s.
I've seen that clip. I know the clip you're on about. Yeah.
And it's so there's something afoot, and that's why we wanted to do the show, and that's why we do stuff like this, because people are going. You know the thing. Oh, there's no good music anymore. It was only good in the 70s. Fucking hell, shut up, Grandad. No, it's not. There is some fucking classic, absolutely stonky music then, but there's equally as good as stuff now, if not better, because of technology moving up and the way things sound and everything. We've gone away from the hey man and all that, and everyone's drugged up, and you know the young bands now. I talk to young bands now, and they're not into like the Oasis, not coked up every night or on the booze every night. You know what I mean?
And that's one of the reasons why Noel Gallagher summed it up. He says, "Why, if you're a record label, why would you want 5 drunk guys from Manchester, who are, you know, getting steaming on a Tuesday afternoon that you can't control?" Be the product. It's easier for them to have one 19-year-old singing a cover song that they just you'll do what you're told to do.
It's cheaper as well.
It's a lot cheaper as well, yeah. So, and like the radio stations are all owned by the record labels. We try and get one of our songs on a radio station. It's like, oh, what record label are you with? We're not interested then. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like trying to get to a festival as well.
Well, because they'll
what
get
management have you got? What PR have you got? And today, you mentioned Liam Gallagher earlier, Kirk. Today in the papers, they were sort of honing in on his Twitter comment because people had said, "Why don't you give young bands a chance to support Oasis?" And he said, "Because 99% of them are shite." And but then I think it was the Telegraph, and they were basically talking about this, expanding on it, and they said, "Well, yeah, it's like shouty hardcore punk bands or shite solo artists, but there are plenty of bands out there. It's just." We don't have the PR, the management to get pushed because...
Well, it's like a lot of things, and it's like the food industry, it's like the pharmaceutical industry, it's like they're all stitched up, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's all about money, people controlling it. So the radio stations probably don't want you on because if they play your track, they get jack shit. If they play, you know, Fred, who's signed with Sony, and they play his track a couple of times, they're going to get money because they've played, don't they?
Well, it's a self-licking lollipop. If the record label,
I like that.
The record label says you will play this, and then the radio station plays this, and that money goes back to the record label. It's just once you've had a song rammed into your ears 50 times a day because you've listened to it on Radio 1, you think you like it, whether you do or not.
Do you know what? I was listening to I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of audio stuff when I'm out and about, or some of the stuff that we play. And for some reason, I was in a van. And I forget what happened now. Why I couldn't get my system to work. And I think it was when I first started a job, and I was in a van at work, and it was the radio was on. I was listening to it and I was thinking, this is total shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And all giggling and laughing and like, you're all fake. It's fake as fuck, innit?
Yeah.
And then they play a track and I think, oh, this is fucking diabolical. And then the other thing you get is I think it's late, bone idle and lazy. It's easy. It'd be easy for me to put a show on which was playing Stone Roses, Gallahers, all that, because everyone knows it. They all know it, so we've not got to convince anyone to like it or get into it. And I think what tends to happen is, as you get older, people get stuck in the ways, and they don't want to. A lot of people don't want to afford the time and effort to sort of listen to a song. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But
totally
that's my
get it.
view.
I completely get
that
it.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a kid, vinyl was the thing. I remember when I sound old as shit now, but you couldn't afford to be into 100 bands. You would focus on a few albums. You would buy it. You would read the inner sleeve, and you would sit there and fucking digest it. But I think now it's like even pop music back in the day. Erasure were class. They were songwriters. They wrote their songs. They were well structured. Verse, chorus, middle eight, verse, chorus.
Still going.
Coda. Yeah, and fantastic songs. You listen to pop now, it's absolute dog shit, and it's the same people that are writing it.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are just going. Ian always says they're not interested in us. They want some fucking pretty little boy with a curly haircut that'll sing in that same bordy voice that they all.
Oh bloody hell! Sounded Asian then. What's up?
Or the girlfriend. I know it sounds bad. Not what I'm trying to say here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the same fucking shit, but
Yeah.
they don't want to. Like Noel Gallagher said, they don't want 5 blokes that are drunk on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? That they can't control. So, I don't know.
No,
I think, well, that's me cancelled now anyway. For
oh, fuck it. Yeah, we can't be. Yeah, and that I think too many people are bothered about getting cancelled. Absolutely off the fucking rockers. You got to present. You can't please everyone, can you?
Nah.
Do you know what I mean? No matter what you do, what you say, or how you do it, you will never please everyone. And a lot of the time, you get frustrated because you try to fit into this mold. I tried it in corporate world. Tried to fit into this mold of how they wanted me to be and how I wanted to be, and it fucking made me ill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Nah.
So that's why when I left corporate world, I had a bit of a nervous breakdown, and I was like, "Fuck it, I've tried my best.
Yeah.
I've still got fucking shafted, and so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play it my way. Because if I'm gonna get abused or whatever, I'll do it because it's stuff that I want to talk about or want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Mate, I'm happy to talk about that stuff too. I went through that fucking mental health.
Well, maybe we do have him involved in our next segment. We'll do that. I didn't think it'd work. What we're going to do, you see, so people are watching this. We're doing 2 parts today. One part is talking about Lucky 13 by the Gallahers. And proud they see. People might think Lucky 13, go download it. Gallahers Green, you see, it's the new one from them. And then the next bit is going to be for my other podcast, which is Who the Fuck is Kurt Pixton, where we talk about topics which generally, if you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you get cancelled. So we'll be coming off the live on Facebook, and we'll be recording that for Rumble. So if you want to watch the rest of this when we depart, it'll be on Who the Fuck is Kurt Pixton's Rumble page.
Nice.
Yeah, that I've just getting my head round because I've never used it. You know
We'll break it for you straight away.
I hope so. So what we'll do, we'll carry on talking until you think we've expanded on this enough, and then we'll disconnect and regroup.
Well, just like you said about that being yourself thing, the amount of people who've said to me, your album sounds very 90s. And I think John even said it once. He says, if we was in the 90s, we've had a record deal with this. And
and this is the fucking crazy shit, isn't it?
But a lot of people have gone, have you not tried making it sound like Kasabian, do the synthy thing, and, you know, these different sounds? We said, no, we've made the record sound exactly how we wanted it to sound.
That's your sound.
It's like a moment in time or whatever. And we were desperately hoping Oasis will get back together next year. All the rumours were coming, and hopefully it switches people on to go, what other bands are out there?
Correct. I think he will.
Yeah, I think he will. And, you know, we're obviously not going to be supporting them because Liam Gallagher thinks we're all crap. But if people just go, what other bands are out there, or that becomes the in thing, we've got 2 albums out and we're recording another in 4 weeks' time. which we'll be releasing next year. So we're kind of primed. If people are looking for bands, we just hope they find us, really.
Yeah. It's sad, really, because there's an age thing. You're not getting any younger. You know, for me, when I look at the industry now and what's going on, you've got the young lads out there, haven't you? They've got, you know, the Distance, people like them. They tell you what a fine guys. Thanks for getting them to come
class,
to
aren't they?
They are fucking brilliant.
Band, yeah.
And our track of the month is their track, what's it called? Watchdog, isn't it?
Underdog.
Underdog.
I love Underdog.
And it's brilliant. They are fucking class.
It's raw.
They're class.
I'll go watching the
Funky
gigs.
as fuck.
Yeah, I'll go watching their gigs. I actually played a gig with them. I cheated on Gallahers Green about a month ago, and I was gigging with the Distance. And Jack always says, way before he plays it, he says, it's the unsigned bands out there, we're the underdogs, and then smashes into the song. I was
brilliant.
like, oh god,
Brilliant.
you know, he's nailed it with that one.
He has. We've got a message here. What's he say? Rich Rainbow. Who's that? That's a fucking name.
That's our keys guy.
He's a fucking porn actor. Rich Rainbow. That's a fucking porn
Maybe
name.
he is.
That's not a fucking Rich Rainbow.
Yeah. Hey,
He is sexy.
That's Dr. Richard Rainbow.
Yeah, he's a doctor, cardiologist.
He says,
Biggie.
not wrong with synths.
I wasn't slagging the synths off.
Yeah.
Rich, don't leave the
And
band.
keys can be. Oh, that's great. So Duggysfest 2025, we're going to have a cardiologist on scene. So
Good. Comes in
we
right
can
now.
actually use.
That's-
We can actually
that's
do that.
actually-
Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? We can use that one. can't we?
I'm sorry, I'm going to steal that when I'm introducing the band. Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah.
But the thing
Listen.
is, our third album, we're talking about like bands evolving. Our third album, there's 2 piano-based songs, and every other song, Rich has gone, all right, I'll use a Hammond organ on that one, I'll use a synth on that one, and it's evolved even more. It's just class. Yeah.
That says
He's a
definitely not a porn star. Oh, there was something else you stopped me there. Yeah, what you can say. This is how I play this now on stage. Is you could say, listen, we're that fucking good people. Some of you are gonna have fucking heart attacks out there, but don't worry, we've got our own cardiologist on stage. On how many bands take their own doctor with them? Fucking brilliant, love it. No, it's chefs in it, barbecue.
How many rock stars would have survived in the 70s from cocaine overdoses if they'd had a heart doctor?
I think they've missed the trick, haven't they? They've missed the trick.
And
Oasis haven't got a
and
fucking
they
doctor
get
in the band, have they?
No.
Hey, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I think he's a secret porn star. Oh, he wants to be a porn star with a name like that, Richard.
Well, you remember our drummer's name? He's Tom Leather. So we've got Mr. Leather and Mr. Rainbow in the band. So we
Fucking
just
right.
got that.
Jeffrey, you get all that all the time. He's got to do that bungle. Why does he? That's the good thing about bungle. There, you know, if you're of a certain age, you won't know what we're talking about. But Rainbow, bungle's walking around all day, fucking bollock naked, and then when he's in the bed scene, he has fucking pajamas on. What's that all about?
It's like Donald Duck.
Go and check it. Seriously, he does. He's walking around with nothing on, and then when he's in bed, he has his pajamas on.
Donald Duck, when he gets out of the shower, he puts a towel around him. You've got more on now. You walk around naked all the time.
I know. There you go. So that's good. It's all good stuff, isn't it? Oh, it's great, lads, and I'm glad we've done this because this is actually this is my first interview for my podcast. For my new podcast, my first one.
We've all stayed in here before, haven't we?
Yeah, the lads have stayed in here.
I slept there once.
Yeah, slept there, and last year we had Coastal Fire Department were here, and the year before the big boss didn't stay, did he? He went home.
Yeah, he went
I was
home.
like, why you stay? You can stay. So I put a camp bed up for him on this side. So we had a camp bed over there, Coastal there, and he started drinking about 12 o'clock when he got here because he wasn't driving, was he?
Yes.
I hope he won't mind me saying, but he was. I was like, "Where's the big boss gone?"
Oh,
I
no.
come in here and he was back out 9:30. He was fucking gone. He was well gone. Yeah.
He's had a good day though.
Oh, he had a great day.
Yeah,
He had a great
sounds
day.
like a
He was
cracking
doing
day.
he was doing those remixes in his head. He was off.
We'll have
That's
to,
what he was doing.
we'll have
Big
to tap
boss.
him up for a remix actually.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie Lamont.
Jamie Lamont, lead guitar player.
Jamie Lamont.
He knows jazz chords and
now
stuff.
that's a proper rock and roll game. I can get behind that one.
Yeah.
Get behind that one. Better than Richie Rainbow.
We don't want anyone else leaving the band, right?
I've got
Not upset anyone.
I've got to meet him. We're not doing Duggysfest. You can fuck off. He's a fucking wanker. He says, Ian, have you got any dad jokes?
I I like. No.
No, it's got no depth.
Oh, what was the one? I did have one the other day. You've put me on the spot now. I've completely forgot it. No, come back to me in a minute. What I will say.
I've got.
Go on.
Do you want one?
Yeah.
What do you call the Irish? What do you call the? I can say this. What do you call the Irish double glazing salesman?
Go on.
Patio doors.
See, where have they all gone? The Irish jokes, we used to have Irish jokes all the time. They've sort of gone by the wayside, haven't
PC
they?
now, isn't it?
Sue PC, you can't slag
Yeah,
them
but
off anymore.
I can say it. So it's fine.
I know. We're joking.
One thing about Rich, he turned up, and there's a song that John's had for 10 years or something, John, called Bloodshot Eyes, and it's all piano based.
Yeah.
And we did have a piano player in Cyprus, and he went by the wayside, and that's gone. So this song's been on the back burner, and we said for album 3, we need someone on the piano. We need this song to happen, 100%. So Jamie said, I know Rich. We brought Rich in, played Bloodshot Eyes. It all went really well, great stuff. And then Rich was jamming, and a new song came out, didn't it? We all just jammed as a band, and a new song called Another Country Song came out. Fantastic, genuinely one of the best songs this band's ever produced. It's going on album 3. The next time we met Rich, which was at the next gig, it was at Duggysfest, and the gig was the stage was the stage that they'd used at Leeds Fest the week before. And it was massive, weren't it? A proper production and everything. And I had to say to Rich, so it's not always like this, mate. we don't always write great songs every time we meet, and we're not always on stages like this. The next week we'll be playing the Dog and Duck, so don't get too excited.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong in that, is there? We're talking about, you've got when we're going back to what I was saying before about doing the steps, people want to go from playing in the Dog and Duck, do you know what I mean, and in the corner and for 3 people watching them. They want to go from that immediately to doing a stadium, and it's never going to happen, is it? Because you've not had the experience of standing in front of a crowd.
Yeah,
I've done a bit of public speaking, and standing in front of 20, 30 people's all right. You go on a proper stage, which I've done, and you think, shit, this is real. You've got
silence as
you
you
know what I
walk
mean?
on.
And it's like, yeah, I had music. I'd walk on music. Fucking great. And I was in Wales, and it's like this. It was a princess theatre, and it was packed. Do you know what I mean? And you think, shit, this is like a whole different level, isn't it? Mm. And you can blank out, can't you? And you can. I mean, what always amazes me when you with songs and artists when you're singing a song is how you remember them. Remember all the tune and the words, and is that because you've just done it that many times? Do you know what I mean? How do you remember, especially when you've got a new song? So you say you decide to write a new song now. How do you remember that, singing it? I can't get it in my head.
I won't speak for John. He's a singer. He's got his own issues with it, but it's all practice. It's all practice. The songs off the first and second album now, like we played them when we played Duggysfest a few weeks ago, and I was just daydreaming looking out, and it plays itself, really. I mean, John's got more going on with the singing and the playing, so I'll let you chat about that, John.
Yeah, it's like as a singer, I'm playing guitar. So when I practice, sometimes I'll go, right, I'm going to practice guitar tonight, and I'll sit there and go, right, chord shapes, structure, right, got that. And then some nights I'll go, right, I'm going to talk about practice pitch and make sure I hit those notes. And some nights I'm like, right, I'm going to practice lyrics. And then you put that all together. And it's that, when you're patting your head, rubbing your tummy.
That's what I was going to say. How'd you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I only learned guitar about 10 years ago. And the guy I was in a cover band with in Cyprus says, right, if you're learning guitar now, learn to sing and play guitar. Best advice I ever got off this guy, Taff Haynes. So I started doing that. But sometimes I'll get pulled into Jamie Lamont will play a lovely lead lick, and I'll go, oh, that was nice. And I'll go, oh, shit. And I'll get pulled back in. Or Rich will play something on the keys, or Tom will do a drum fill, or, you know what I mean? I'll look at Ian and we'll be laughing at something in the crowd, and then I'll be like, oh, shit, where am I? Yeah, so it's all about, I'm not good enough to go up there drunk anymore, like I did when I was 15. When you're singing in a punk band, it's a bit of discipline, and it is all about practicing. But yeah, when you see Axl Rose and Liam Gallagher all on stage and they've got a monitor in front of them with the lyrics going up, you're like, flipping hell.
That's
cheating,
isn't it?
I've seen
Yeah, still
people.
looking at the
I've been in a
words.
band with a guy who did this. He'd take his iPad and have a little stand in front of him. This was in a covers
Oh,
band.
no.
It's a covers band.
Awful.
You should know them
Awful.
songs inside. You can just listen to them in your car when you're driving around
Yeah.
and learn them, can't you?
Yeah.
And he'd have it, and halfway through the song, he'd be doing that, scrolling up. I'm like, oh, it's embarrassing. Your job is to learn the words. That is part of your job. So yeah, it's fun and games.
Just interesting stuff, really. Just try to get your thing back on there. Now we've got that instead. Just spoils it, doesn't it?
I do think the practice definitely pays off though, because if you're practiced enough, the songs will play themselves and you can enjoy the gig. If you're like when I played with the Distance a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
I had to learn those songs and I just about got them ready in time, so I couldn't enjoy the gig the same way I could enjoy a Gallahers Green gig because I'm thinking, what's next? What am I playing next in this song? So it's all about the practice really.
And with us, because you're down south, I'm over here in Northern Ireland. When we get together, we usually rehearse on the day of the gig, go and do the gig, and we all work, and it's how many Saturdays we can get off and stuff. But if you do it at home, but there's nothing like that rehearsal together to really hone the song.
The people in the band now are clearly practicing at home, and then on the day of the gig, it's just a bit of polishing things up, and it's fine. It's not always been that way.
No.
Some people use the only time we was in the room together as their only rehearsal time, so you're spending a lot of time getting stuff together. So
Pretty selfish.
You've got to rehearse, haven't you?
got to, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Got to.
Otherwise, it goes to shit. I mean, it's like not the same thing, but it's similar. I knew he was coming tonight. First time we've done this. I've done it with Eddie as a practice, and it was the lighting. Well, the only reason we've got the lights in this view going at the minute is because we wanted John on and get us both on, but otherwise you won't be able to see the lights. But I came in here the other day, made sure all the cameras were working, the angles were right, the sound was okay, and otherwise it just becomes a mess.
You wipe down the casting couch.
Casting couch is wiped down there. That's ready. That's all sorted.
I think that's where Tom and I slept.
It is.
Yes,
Yeah.
the casting couch. People probably look at that and go, "Oh, look at that behind there."
Don't get the black light on that. Whatever.
It's great.
happens.
Yeah, don't
No.
do that. Don't do that.
Not after me and Tom were on there.
That's good. Oh, I managed to get your logo on here now.
Yeah, I'm
so
liking
look at-
that.
so
It's
like
looking
that.
good, isn't
So
it?
that it's
looking
almost
very good.
professional now, isn't it?
Yeah, very smart, mate.
I mean,
That's good, mate.
I don't know if we've got any comments, but I think we're about done, aren't we? On the
I think so.
on this bit. No pressure.
I know jazz chords, Jamie Lamont.
He does.
Oh,
True about Bungle.
true about Bungle. That's the porn. So you've got a porn star in your band, and you've got a doctor.
Alleged porn star.
Alleged
You've
porn
got to say
star.
that
He's
for
a
legal
porn
reasons.
star. Alleged, yeah, alleged. We'll
Yeah,
find out.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to do a search later, and everyone do a search for Rich Rainbow and see what comes up.
Or maybe do a search for Mr. Rainbow and Mr. Leather. That would be interesting.
Has he sorted his addiction out with equipment now?
Oh,
Tom.
God. No, he's worse, isn't he? He'll never do that. He's got about 4 drum kits. There's one that lives at my house.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's always got like 2 in his car.
It's the thing about drummers. It's
Yeah,
the
it's crazy.
same as Coastal. He's got a container full of snare drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves a good cymbal, does our Tom. I tell you.
Oh.
He'll explain a cymbal to me. Oh, this is a Wuhan fucking
I have no
Well,
fucking idea, mate.
crash. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good. No idea.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel when people come in and start talking about it? And I'm like, oh my God, I can sort of bumble my way around. Yeah, I'm never getting there.
Yeah.
Now. Bungle my way around it. But I don't know, you know what I mean? I know everything fits together. But even Sandra was quite surprised at Duggysfest. She went, how does Kurt know all this shit? Because a band would turn up and go, I've got one of these. And Eddie'd go, shit, how do we connect that? And I'm going, I'll tell you what, let's put it in there and do that. Right, bosh, we're in.
Having said that about Tom, do you remember Gorilla Beer Hall? He turned up and there was no stands. And he'd not brought any. The first and only time he's not brought his own stands, and there was none provided. And he went from the 50 million cymbals that he's normally got, and he had to sort this little rack out. Did he borrow it off another band, I think?
Yeah.
And his drum kit was tiny. And fair play to him, he cracked on and did the gig.
It sounded just as fucking good, to be fair.
Yeah.
And it was like he looked at me and I could see the panic. He was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I went, mate, you just have to.
It's got to do it.
Yeah.
If you're he's good as a good drummer, I could probably give him some
Great
plastic buckets and it'd still sound good. I need to find the video. I need to share it. Have you seen the one arm? The guy playing one-handed?
No.
Oh my God, I'll have to find it on. And he's playing so many complex sounds with one drumstick like that, and then flicking it over, and he's banging it, throwing it on the drum kit and picking up. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Maybe he'll be our next drummer.
Tell you what,
it's tradition in this band that every time we record an album, the drummer gets fired. So when we walk out of the studio,
can't get rid of Tom. Tom, we can't get rid of Tom.
Tom, we're not going to fire you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, definitely maybe is their next album. Oh, maybe that's already been done.
Great idea.
Don't forget, people, Lucky 13.
Yep, out tomorrow.
13. Got that? And you can go
remastered, reimagined.
Can people go
from Gallahers
Can people go and buy these?
Yep, there's a few of them left on the website.
Yeah, we don't have many T-shirts left, so if you do want a T-shirt,
I need to get some new T-shirts made. I have got a Dougie Stone Radio one in there, but it's a small, I think. Otherwise, you could have had that. I need to get some merch. I've not bought merch for ages because I was buying merch and then you just give it away, don't you? Sorry, you do because that's how you make your money. But generally, I was buying baseball caps and T-shirts. And you get them all the time. Oh, let's do some merch. We'll make a fortune. No, you fucking won't. Half the time you go, yeah, have one of them, and it's all gone. So.
Like a promotion thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is really for us. It is a promotional
people
thing.
are like a walking advert, aren't they? If you're walking around Tesco wearing that, people might go,
yeah,
who's this? Let's have a look.
Who are they? So I think this is my third band T-shirt now. I've got this one.
You burn the other two now.
Coastal.
That's it. No.
Oh, I've got the distance one. That's 4 I've got because he left it on the mic stand and buggered off.
I've got a distance one as well.
Yeah, it's
John,
great.
John bought it, mate, at the last gig actually.
It's great. It's absolutely wonderful.
£6 that.
So should we wrap this segment up of the show and grab a coffee? Well, you're drinking beer. I'm going to get him a cup of tea.
Lovely.
What are you on? Moriarty.
It's the new unfiltered one. It's lovely.
Oh, is that a cloudy? Is that a cloudy one?
It's cheating on Peroni. I'm not having this.
I didn't like the normal brandy, but that stuff.
I've got the normal one in the fridge, and to shatter the illusion, I don't like Peroni. Can't stand it.
not?
No, I can't stand it.
Ian, get out of the room.
Yeah,
You're in there.
I can't stand it. Can't stand it. Honestly, I can't. It's not a drink I can drink. I just find it too gassy, and I don't like the flavour.
Over the years, me and John have drunk your fair share of it, so don't worry.
No, it's fine.
These two albums were written thanks to Peroni.
It's a bit like vegans, isn't it? I showed you a video before about vegans. I don't mind vegans, but they just ram it in your face too much, don't they? Fucking wankers. So yeah, they're on it. Oh, yeah, poor animals. Get it down your neck. Stop messing about. So my lad, he's not here today. He's gone away. But for his breakfast, he has a ribeye steak every morning and about 8 eggs in milk.
Jesus,
That's his breakfast.
Yeah.
He says, Dad. Yeah, Dad, I'm doing my bit for every vegan out there trying to save a cow. He says, I'm doing my best to counter it. So that's what he's doing. So you've done the same with that. But people, these guys, yeah, it's not going to cost you a fortune. Go find them. Go find their albums. Go to the website, Gallahers Green, Lucky 13, and get their other albums as well. And if you're so tight you can't afford one, at least go and stream them from the old Spotify, and I presume it'll be on Apple Music, will it?
It'll be on everywhere tomorrow.
Be on all the platforms on the 25th, and it's great the lads have come. I don't know if you should play. Should we play a track? We've got ones. We've played. We started off with Satellite, didn't we? The other one's on YouTube because we can sort of wrap this segment.
What about Prodigal Son? You were talking about Oasis, and that's people keep saying that's our most Oasis-y song.
Yeah, that's a good track. That. Tell us what this is about. Tell us what this is about. Well, you can hear me, can't you?
Yeah. So Prodigal Son, it was an old friend of mine. His sister passed away, and he didn't take it very well. He went down, basically a bit of a druggie, and his parents were constantly trying to sort him out and reach out to him, and that's why there's the female harmony in it to represent his mother. But it's basically about how he lost his way and basically it was just sitting back watching it. And that's the thing, when you hang around Ian and I, be careful what you say because you'll end up in a song. But yeah, Prodigal Son was very much...
Should imagine. I normally find myself on fucking toilet walls, but that's another story. Before we play this, we're going to play this now and then have a quick break, and then we'll go back. We'll carry on. I like what you're doing with your videos. I like that because some of your early videos were like pixelated, weren't they? Or silhouettes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you couldn't see it. But I like what you've done now because a lot of this is like
Well, this is genuinely the footage from Blueprint Studios. So that John playing there is the actual him playing that ended up on the record.
And I like what you did, because you're in the studio and you're doing stuff. I think it might just be this one, but I think you should do more like that, because they look more natural. I feel like I'm part of the thing rather than putting something on. Satellite's different. You've got a satellite going on, all the rest of it. But that doesn't connect. That satellite video doesn't connect me to you as much as this connects me to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well,
as a viewer.
The last 2 albums we've done, I've taken the camcorder into the studio and just leave it lying around, and then I just get all the footage at the end.
I know what you're doing here.
And it comes up with magic like this. Really, it is natural. Because everyone forgets it. Yeah, people forget the camera's there eventually.
They do. They do normally in here, and no one. I think on the next Duggysfest, I need to hide the camera, don't I? See what shenanigans go on in the evening.
I'm not staying in the shed next time. I'm bringing a tent.
Oh, you're coming out.
Here we are.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, we need to work that out with Janice, because it's been tradition at a band stay. So I'm presuming you're going to have to stay, because he's coming from back and beyond.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. So that means that the Hotel Studio 1 is taken up. Anyone else wants to stay, I'll have to bring a tent. Right. Let's put this video on and we'll have a break, and then we'll come back. It's been wonderful, lads. Oh, you've enjoyed it. We've covered it all.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Right. This is Gallahers Green and their track Prodigal Son.